Hi Miles, thanks for the extra footage, quick review of the key points that I thought would come about through what is quite a simple drill. First set of footage you sent me over on the left, going to focus mainly on the face-on view, primarily on the face-on view. We had an excessive amount of turning, so we've got the extension in there, we've got the left tilts in there, but the turning piece is overriding all those other good things that you're doing. So you want to put numbers on it. They're not definitive numbers, but just to give you a frame of reference. If we're going to make a balanced backswing, let's say that we should turn at 5, extend at 5, and left tilt at 5. Completely irrelevant numbers, but just to give you, like I say, just a frame of reference. What I'm seeing here on the left is a guy who is left tilting and extending at a nice rate, but turning at far too great a rate. So you would be, I would say that you're turning at your left tilting at 5, extending at 5, but turning at 10. And obviously your options there are, do we then say, right, well, let's left tilt more, let's extend more? Well, there's only so much of that you can do without being out of balance. The key here is to curtail the amount at which you rotate. My big issue obviously was the amount of rotation. If you look at your eyes completely away from the golf ball at P4, the head's turned through sort of almost 90 degrees at that point. Main point of vision or main vision is over here. The reason I asked you to close your left eye is because when you do that and you make a golf swing, if you turn your head and your body as much as that, you're going to lose sight of the golf ball, and there is nothing more unsettling for a golfer than losing sight of the golf ball. So the swing on the right is you doing that drill. So we've closed the left eye at P1, and I'm just asking you to hit some normal shots. I appreciate this is an iron, so there's a little bit less oomph in it, if you will, than a driver, but we're starting to see the change in your mechanics that you need to apply. So with the left eye closed, without even really, realising it, I didn't give you any sort of plan. I just gave you a simple drill. So without realising it, what you've started to do is turn at a slightly curtailed rate, much more in sympathy with what you're trying to do. The amount of rotation in the head there now is visibly different. I've absolutely no problem with a little bit of rotation of the head, like we see there. All players are different. Depends largely, depends to a degree on the amount of flexibility you've got in that area around your neck. Personally, for me, I have a very similar move with my head to what you're demonstrating there on the right hand side, so I have no issue with it. The idea of keeping the eyes completely level, whilst it looks really good, it's achievable for some, but not achievable for all. What I'm also liking when I look at this is that as we said, the rate of rotation has calmed down. That makes the left tilt from P1 to P2, 2.5, left shoulder down, starts to look a little bit more emphasised. It isn't, it's just that you're not turning the heck out of it. So consequently, it looks to be a little bit more of a turn on a tilted angle than we were seeing initially. Obviously, the head is a big difference. And also what we've got now is we've got accumulator 4 under control. So the amount that the left arm travels in relation to the amount of turn we create is much more under control. Here, the left arm's getting way too far behind us. We're starting to lose control of the shaft. And as you said in your email initially, your swing feels very long and out of control. So this is a calming down process. The more you do this drill, the more you should start to see the head maybe level up a little bit more. Maybe have a little bit less turn of the shoulders, particularly on an iron swing like we see here on the right. And this left knee would come in a fraction less. Again, I have no problem with that left knee coming in. The turning of the body means that the left knee will come in as long as the left knee is flexing forward a similar amount. So for every, again, let's use a term of reference, for every inch it comes in, let it go forward an inch. As long as that's happening, we'll be fine. We'll turn in a circle on a tilted angle. When we look at it from down the line, we start to see some nice changes here too. Initially, when the turn is excessive, you can see the head's already going, P1, P3. The arms are getting pulled behind you at too high a rate. The body's already completed its turn. It can't really go anywhere now. It just starts to, the arms are in danger of lifting at that point just to finish the swing off. P3.5 to 4. And we see there's a huge gap opening up between your knees at a very early stage of the swing. With the left eye shut and the rate of rotation calming down, the club isn't getting pushed behind you as much. And I appreciate this is driver versus iron, but mechanically they're very similar moves. They're done on a different inclination to the ground, and that is all. We're seeing less roll of accumulator 3, so the back of the left hand, let's bring that one down. The back of the left hand, it's blurred on that one, but you get the idea. Isn't rolling as much. This looks a decent length iron as well. It's not like you've got an 8 iron in your hand or anything like that. And the difference in your shoulder tilts from driver to that club is marked. Now, yes, there would be some change in shoulder tilts from driver to iron, but would they be that dramatic? Not really, not without some changes to your mechanics. You can see there now the gap between the knees is substantially less. So the right hip, because we're not turning as fast, the right hip is not getting pulled around and behind us at quite as high a rate, and now it's starting to turn upwards and inwards from P1 to P4. So we're starting to see some changes in regards to the stability of your swing overall from face on, your ability to stay in balance, and we're also starting to see some control of the left arm, some control of the shaft, and some changes in your leg action. That can only bode well in regards to your ability to control the strike of the golf ball. As we come through the hit, I'd like to see you really calm down, again, the amount that we rotate. So closing the left eye tidies up a lot of things in your backswing without you thinking too much about them, which is great. And that's what we want ultimately going forward. We don't want you bogged down with ideas. So simple drill, close the left eye, has an effect on a lot of key areas of the golf swing. And that's great. That's exactly what we're after. What we need to do then is control the rate at which this right knee, which the body turns through the shot. We can see as we do that, the right heel pops up pretty quick. The right knee shoots out in front of the right toe quite fast. So again, we're just going to control what we're doing with that right knee on the way through. So how do we do that? Well, what we do is we get a cane or an alignment cane or two, and we place it in the ground so that it's touching the right knee at P1. As we go back, obviously the right leg would straighten and move away from the cane. The correct sequence now in the downswing is for this right knee to move into and then slide along the cane. Now you can see that your right knee would push the cane out of the way. Now I'm just going to get a model up for us on the left hand side. Whenever you're looking at these model swings, I think the key thing to remember is that you may see a slight move in front of the cane. You may not, you might do, but you won't see things happening excessively. So here with Grant turning, left tilting and extending at a nice, very incremental rate. This action for me is as pretty much as close to our model as you're likely to see anytime soon. The right knee now moves into the cane and then would slide along it and would never push the cane out this way. So we're looking to calm down what the right knee does from P4 to, let's say, P9. We go into the cane, then through the cane, and as a result, the rate of turn and extension is a little bit excessive, and we need to calm that down. That's going to solve any problems you may have of blocks to the right, high rate of closure, hooks to the left, etc. So plenty of work on left eye closed, cane in front of the right knee. So stick it in the ground, have it angled forward, and then move into and along the cane. If you want to see some nice demonstrations of this drill, if you go to my channel, there's two guys I've worked with that spring to mind straight away. One called David Brunton, or Dave Brunton, and the other one called Mark Ramsdale. They've both worked extensively on this drill for different reasons throughout the time I've worked with them, and you'll certainly find a video on the channel of them doing and demonstrating this drill, just to sort of get your head around where you need to put the cane, etc. Hope this helps. If you've got any questions, feel free to contact me via Twitter or email. Swing on the right that I was looking at, the last swing that you sent is really coming on a treat. I like a lot of the stuff you're doing. I think it's really starting to calm down, and the main thing is just keep adding a little bit of detail each session to what is basically a functioning golf swing as we stand at the moment. Good luck with it, and keep me posted.